Good evening. Welcome everyone to the City of Shelbyville Mayor and City Council regular meeting. Tonight I want to welcome everyone, our good crowd that we've got tonight, and we appreciate all of the citizens being involved and thank everyone for coming. We also want to thank our Leadership Bedford people that are here tonight to kind of oversee the meeting and see how meetings like this go in government. And we appreciate them being here tonight also. At this time, I'll ask our officer if he would call our meeting to order.
All rise. The November 2024 meeting of Shelbyville City Council is about to commence. Please silence all cell phones and noise-making devices. We ask that you remain standing for the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance. At the conclusion of tonight's meeting, this building will be closed and returned to a secure facility. We ask that if you have any business to conduct following this meeting, to do so within 5 minutes and depart the building forthwith.
Thank you. We'll ask our police chief, Phillips, to come and offer our invitation.
Let us pray. Most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and all the many blessings you give us. We thank you, Heavenly Father, for the freedom that we have in this country, where we can meet together and discuss the items of this city and to discuss things and make this city better. We thank you so much for all your many blessings you give us each and every day, Heavenly Father, but most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who came and died on the cross for our sins, so we may have everlasting life. These things we ask in your Son's most holy name. Amen.
Amen. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. All right, we'll ask our city reporter, Ms. Smith, if you would do the roll call.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I will. I wanted to let everybody know we have done some calibrations on the new equipment. So if you'll sit up and speak into your microphones, will be a little bit better presentation than we had last month. We're kind of working out the bugs. Can you hear me, Kate? Okay.
I don't think the
Doesn't sound like
the speakers are off. Oh, they're messing with the track.
Oh,
But the audio is in the lobby. So
oh, okay.
microphones are working up there.
Okay. And it'll come through good on the
Recording.
recording.
Can they hear us out in the
We
lobby?
had We had a trial run with it last night. So worked out pretty well. We don't even use the microphones. Okay, roll call, Councilmember Christie,
Here.
Councilmember Ewing, Councilmember Feldhouse,
Here.
Councilmember Hale,
Here.
Councilmember Isaac, Councilmember Turnbow.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum with 5 members present, 1 absent.
Thank you. All right, the adoption of the agenda. We want to amend the agenda, and I need a motion for that, to amend the agenda to remove item D under section 12, resolutions. I would also ask in that motion that we would like to move resolution 12C to right after the city manager's report, immediately after that, so that these children can get home and get some sleep. Do I have a motion for those 2 amendments? I like it. Do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Okay, any opposed? All right, at this time, we will ask that the agenda be approved, or a motion to approve the agenda as it's been amended. Will I have a motion on that? Do I have a second? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Thank you. All right, public comments, Ms. Smith?
Yes, sir, we have 4 speakers who signed up for public comment. The first one is Mark Betzelberger. Betzelberger, you have 3 minutes, and the time starts when you start saying.
Good evening.
Good evening. I yield my time to a 3-minute video.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Smith, our next speaker.
Patrick Curtis.
Good evening.
Good evening, guys, ladies and gentlemen. You want to go ahead and keep playing?
$6.2 million just in team fees for weekend soccer tournaments this season. Within a 60-mile radius of Shelbyville, $2.1 million will be generated in tournament fees, and this does not include Alabama, which has a large tournament turnout for the Huntsville tournaments. We expect to be comparable to complexes like Smyrna, Columbia, White House, Oak Ridge, and Cookeville, where average tournament income is $55,600. Now, using $55,000 as a starting point, this would equate to about 100 teams and 1,100 players approximately, plus their families to spend on hotels, restaurants, and other retailers over a 3-day weekend tournament. Assuming a modest expenditure of $400 per family, that's $440,000 in local hotel, restaurant, and vendor revenue. This is revenue that does not include the rec soccer leagues, adult soccer leagues, flag football, ultimate frisbee. Soccer with TSSA sanctioned tournaments alone would generate plenty of income. This does not include tournaments that might be for softball or baseball or any of the other sports that are going to be available because soccer is no longer occupying the outfield of softball and baseball fields. 49 of the top 50 cities and 69 counties in the state of Tennessee cannot be wrong. It's time for us to take advantage of this opportunity for our community. I strongly suggest that we move forward on approving the funding to match what the state is willing to offer.
Next speaker is Neil Gordon.
Good evening, Nick.
Hey, everybody. I don't have a presentation as but I've already been accused of stirring up all this trouble tonight anyway. Y'all, every day I go to school and I teach, and we fight for a future that we're never gonna see. That's fact. And y'all, I wish this was the first time I'd stood here and asked for a soccer park. It's been a lot of years, y'all. A lot of years. The last time I was promised, or the first time I was promised one, I was 25. Y'all, I'm 60 years old, and we still here. And they asked me when I come, and I don't know if this fight left in me, fellas, just to be honest with you, but here we stand. I will tell you this, the state of this sport is strong. We had 100 people, junior high boys team this year. I know I'm the coach. Break 65 children's hearts. Coaching has not been easy. It would be a lot easier, guys and gals, if you made my job even harder. Make my job harder. Make us more kids like this. We got teams that are winning in every high school that we have here in this county. And I just think that's something that we can't ignore. And we waited a long time. Stood in line. And here we are again. So I'm going to ask you, folks, what's your legacy going to be? What's our legacy going to be? Some of y'all scared as the greatest mine, okay? Our legacy going to be, y'all. We're going to be the people that stood in the way one more time. We're going to be people to get it done. Get it done, y'all. I'll come here. If you need me to beg you, I'll beg you. There ain't much pride left. Let's get a night to have courage to make this decision. Courage. Every good movement started with courage. Somebody's part. Everybody's part. Something started with courage. I ask you to have that courage for these young people. Thank you for your time.
And the final speaker tonight is Charlie Rose.
Evening. Councilmen and Councilwomen, my name is Charlie Rose. I've been a resident of Shelbyville since 2002, and a business owner since 2004, and I've coached girls soccer since 2008. I want to share with you just a story about the first year I coached at Harris Middle School. This was in 2016. This happened to be the first year that my oldest Emma was an 8th grader. I remember watching her the previous 2 years and seeing her teammates out there. One thing that stood out to me, there was a 6th grader that played on her team that was really good. Didn't play her 7th grade year. Didn't play her 8th grade year up to that point. Now, I found out that she wasn't going to play, so I reached out to her family. I reached out to her and I asked her if she would come to try it. She decided that she would. And she said, Coach, I have a younger sister that's probably better than me. That I'd like to come out too. And I said, absolutely, she should come out. So she tried out. I knew at that time that her sister wasn't going to be better than her because of how good she was, but I was wrong. This girl was really, really good. So throughout the course of middle school, as I watched her play and develop, I asked her parents if it would be okay if we could get her to go play on a travel team with several of the other girls in Tullahoma, because we didn't have anything here. She excelled at that level. In fact, she excelled so much she wanted something even more. So she tried out for a team in Murfreesboro. They noticed how good she was. The director and the coaches there moved her to their top level team that they had in Murfreesboro. She won the state title. She got regional recognition for her level. Now I want you for just a moment to close your eyes. I want you to think about that little sixth grade girl that did not have the courage to play if it were not for her sister, had played no organized soccer whatsoever. But because a coach, because a parent, because a sister was willing to take a risk on her and push her to do it, she got the opportunity. Where do you think she is today? She's playing collegiate soccer. She's getting her degree. I beg you, how many little boys and girls aren't going to get that opportunity if we don't get this done? Because they're missing it, because somebody watched out for them. Somebody went the extra mile. It's going to get that chance. I'm asking you to give us that chance for these kids.
Appreciate all the speakers tonight. All right, it's the, no other public comments, Lisa?
No,
All right, at this point in time, we'll move to our next item, which is city manager report. We'll ask Scott Collins, our city manager, to give us that report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to give everyone a reminder that Tuesday, November 19th, we'll be having our charter review meeting with Virginia Tech. I'll be at 12 noon here in this building. So, Richardson District is moving forward. Y'all heard briefly about it. Phase 1 will be adding approximately 38 new parking places. It will be open on December 2nd, and we expect to present bids for council consideration and business meeting on December 14th. I gave y'all a handout on what is the next community 5K on the Saturday camp. And the reason I'm getting this early is because of a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. And the December meeting cycle, Ed Davis, one of the leaders of this movement, will be here to address the council. Last thing I want to mention is we need to Christmas event will be taking place in Freedom, and that's Tuesday, December 3rd. It's a very exciting event, lots of good work, several amazing kids, children, chamber. So many people, city, county, everybody working together on it. It's really going to be a great event. I hope you make it. Mayor, that's all I have.
God, we appreciate that. All right, the next item on the agenda, we have moved resolution 12C. If you turn to your last page or back page, you've got multiple pages. This is a resolution of the mayor and city council of Shelbyville, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor to sign the local parks and recreation fund grant, accepting the $2.5 million awarded to the city of Shelbyville to be used for a soccer complex at H.B. Griffin Park, and to approve the required match of $2.5 million, 1.73000 land appraisal, and $770,000 to be appropriated for the general fund balance as needed. I need a motion to approve that resolution. Go right ahead. We're gonna read the resolution.
Resolution of the mayor and city council of Shelbyville, Tennessee, authorizing the mayor to sign the local parks and recreation fund grant accepting the $2.5 million awarded to the city of Shelbyville to be used for a soccer complex at H.B. Griffith Park, and to approve the required match of $2.5 million to be allocated as $1,730,000 on land appraisal and $770,000 to be appropriated from the general fund balance as needed. Whereas the mayor and city council approved resolution 1224 on February 8th, 2024, authorizing an application to be submitted to the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation for a local parks and recreation fund grant known as LPRF to provide for a soccer complex. And whereas the city of Shelbyville was notified on August 16th, 2024, that they were being awarded a 50-50 LPRF grant in the amount of $2.5 million with a required $2.5 million match from the city of Shelbyville. And whereas the value of the land for the soccer complex is $1,730,000 and can be used toward the required $2.5 million match, which would leave a required amount of $770,000 from the city of Shelbyville. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee, that the mayor is hereby authorized to sign and accept the LPRF grant. Be it further resolved, mayor and city council of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee, hereby commit $770,000 from the general fund balance in fiscal year 25 and fiscal year 26 as needed for the remaining match provided the state of Tennessee accepts the $1,730,000 land appraisal as the other part of the $2.5 million required local match. And be it further resolved that the funds used will be used for phase 1 of the soccer complex project. That will include architectural and engineering documents, 260,000 square foot parking lot, connection to existing park infrastructure, and the grading of 6 full-size soccer fields measuring 1,300 by 500 feet.
Okay? At this time, I'll ask for a motion to approve that resolution.
Next question.
Yes.
You're technically supposed to get your motion
I'll make that
first.
motion. Need a motion first.
Make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay, Mr. Hill, thank you. All right, Mr. Turnbull.
Next question. My boy Trevor, I ain't picking on you. Don't get me wrong. Where these figures come from?
Those figures came from a meeting that was held with Reagan Smith, Kevin from Reagan Smith, also Daniel Jackson from the state of Tennessee, as well as I had a secondary meeting just to confirm because, I wanted to make sure that we were on the right track.
Right.
Alicia from Kimley Horn, she was also brought in and to go over these numbers and to make sure that those numbers are something that can be achieved in this country.
I got it. My biggest problem is you want to take in this first part, you're gonna build $1 million parking lot. You're gonna use the bathroom, walk out, see something. I'm listening. Porta potty?
Porta potties.
Man,
Are going to be the plan at the very beginning, yes, sir.
you need to downsize that parking lot and build some restrooms. You don't have to have a 650 space parking lot. Is it gravel?
Well, this is talking about future-proofing us and also making
Yeah, I
sure that we have
understand that.
room for tournaments and
You
that.
need bathrooms.
I agree with
Take
that.
some of that $971,000 and build some bathrooms. That's
We
crazy.
can always build a part of.
You can build parking lot
We
anytime.
can always expand the asphalt parking lot.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be a gravel parking
Uh,
lot with ADA spaces that would have to be a solid, like concrete.
Wait a minute. I thought you said it was, this number says like 600.
150 space.
650 spaces that will accommodate 650 spaces. But several of which will be ADA, and because of the ADA requirements, they'll be a concrete.
I think that we can swallow the pill a little easier, in the gentleman in Councilman Turnbow. And I think starting out on a smaller level with the funds that we have available, possibly available for the city, starting out at a particular scale and then possibly going to a bigger level at a later time, contingent upon time, we see those funds, or we've received additional funds from the state, et cetera. But I certainly agree with Councilmember Turnbow about restrooms and that type of thing. As far as concessions, maybe you can like food trucks, but, some of the things that I think would be, more pleasing to those amenities that we feel very necessary, that really need to come on question. And did I hear Madam Attorney? Please clarify, in my mind, it's something that 1.7. What is the first? Okay, so the state hasn't really approved or accepted that yet? I've just read this. Have they approved? Have they accepted it?
There will be a part of the submission, but I've already gotten
But-
assurances from the state that
But
yes,
they will,
that
they will
that is
most likely
legit for
accept it.
appraisal and that they would.
So they have accepted it?
They can't accept it until we submit everything goes in at one time to go under contract. But I've already spoken with the state. I told them what the figure amount was and told them who the land appraisal came from, uploaded it, and they've been able to look at it, and they see no problem with it moving forward.
And I think another.
But our $770,000 commitment is only contingent on the fact that whether or not they approve it.
That's right.
So you're only on, the city would only be on the hook if they actually approve that land appraisal.
And that 77 is the budgets of this budget and the next budget. So it is what
That's correct.
Madam Chair.
Fiscal year 2, yeah.
Yes,
Correct.
2 years, yes. Any other questions?
FDA approved porta potties.
They do, yes, sir.
You want to build, that's great. Build some bathrooms. Good.
I think that's a great idea, and if it's possible, we're definitely gonna do it.
Cut the parking lot, build some bathrooms.
I think another fear is the fact that, this is jumping in really deep. It feels like it's jumping in really deep as far as financial ask, for this or for that and the things that will come along. And these figures may not reflect and that type of thing. That's a little scary.
Well, like I said, we've gotten assurances from both the state and from some folks, some professionals that do this for a living that agree that these numbers are practical and we can achieve what we want to, that we've set out to do with this $3.27 million.
Well, I think we need to get started, so I'm in. That's for the vote.
Got a few statements I want to make to finish asking questions. I think as you can see, $2.5 million from the state is all cash. And the city is only being asked to put up $770,000 cash.
Yes, sir.
When we originally went down this road of requesting this grant, I think we were, 14 million?
Yeah.
Which, a lot of cash. City of Shelby.
It would have been $7 million, yes, sir.
Cash. That, at that time, Mr. Gordon has said some of us have gotten great on this thing, trying to get it done. Committed then, and I commit now, that if we need $2.5 million from the city of Shelbyville, we should be looking at least a $2.5 million capital outlay note that we can pay over the next 5 to 10 years to make sure this thing has bathrooms, that it's done correctly, and we spend $5 million cash, like the state originally requested, I think, taking the 1.73 million, so is, we're just damn lucky, if you excuse my French. But there were people sitting in this room that opposed us buying that, because EPA concerns that we paid $195,000 for.
Right.
Now they're happy to endorse it because now it's worth 1.7 million to help you get 2.5 million. So my commitment is, the heck with the price of the land. That should, if I was the state, I'd turn you down. Because that's sort of being chintzy. You just got lucky because you bought some land years ago at a price when it was affordable. But anyway, I'd be for amending the motion to include up to $2.5 million in cash if necessary, that the city commit to on a bond issue, for that.
Well, you definitely get bathrooms for that.
And you get bathrooms, you get a whole lot more. Because originally this complex was $12 million. 14 million.
It's been less than that.
$12 million many years ago, we had a horrible thing with Virginia. So, $5 million is still just getting started. We gotta start somewhere. We gotta make a commitment somewhere. And $2.5 million in cash is a lot of money. But that's the kind of project that deserves capital outlay, make sure we do it right, and give the Parks and Recreation Department and everybody the incentive that we're gonna do it right, not worry about porta potties.
And I'll make a statement. Anybody else need to make one? I want to say that when I've only been mayor a little less than 2 years. December will be 2 years. When I was campaigning for mayor, I went out on baseball fields with those children in the morning were trying to play soccer on those baseball fields. I do not want to turn the state of Tennessee down. This $2.5 million that they have so graciously offered to us to get this project started. And I agree with Bob on some of these things about restrooms and things like that. We want to do the best we can and make the very best effort we can, but it's time to get started. Neil, when you were 25, I was probably 40. We do need to move forward with this, and from the mayor's standpoint, I want us to move forward with this. So it is time for a vote unless we have any more discussion.
Well, of course, all of this is taxpayer money, and you've got some that are opposing, and of course, you have a lot that is really wanting it. It has nothing to do, as far as I'm concerned, with kids. Of course, very much needed. I'm not a soccer fan per se, but I'm not a golf fan either, so, But let me say this. When it comes to, for instance, Neverland Park, I would like to see in your budget the improvement, enhancements, upgrades. I don't recall any of that in forever. And that's part of the Park and Recreation Department. Some of the improvements or upgrades of the rec center. I know that we did not approve the bleachers for the tennis courts. Now, I am a tennis fan. We didn't approve the bleachers for the tennis courts. But there are other things that I think the Parks and Recreation can do to enhance, improve other areas. I mean, we've soaked so much into this particular, but there's more to it when it comes to Parks and Rec. And that Neverland Park, I do think needs some attention.
Well, I'll tell everyone here on the city council, I have to be thankful, because I feel like I came here in the end of 2020, and I feel like that was the fullness of time for us, because since I've been here, we've been able to replace lights on our tennis courts. We've been able to replace, and all this is over to LED, lights on our baseball fields. We've been able to recoat, redo our track. We've been able to redo our gym floor, our racquetball floor. We've been able to do lockers and recoat the surface of the pool. We've been able to do a lot, and it's because of you all that have approved those budgets in the past. And so, as long as I'm here, I'll continue to put in more things that we can do to improve the Parks and Recreation. It's what we want to do. It's what we're here for. It's the passion that I have. So, but as it pertains to soccer fields, I know it's a big push and it's a big ask, but I also think it's a good deal.
I'm thankful for seeing the crowd over there at the park complex all the time. It's being used. Okay, it's time for a vote on this resolution.
I have to ask before we take a vote,
Okay.
Councilmember Feldhouse, you said you want to amend?
I'd like to amend the resolution to include up to a $2.5 million bond issue if necessary to make sure we obtain the money from the state for this matching grant.
Okay, the motion was originally made by,
The,
you
But
agree
this
with
is
that?
I will amend the motion to do that, yes.
Okay, you amend the motion to do that, okay, do we have a second?
Mr. Hale, you will have to agree to,
I'm not sure what that, someone explain that.
That means that
yeah,
if the state turns us down for using the land as the money,
Right.
we can put the money up.
Cash.
That's the only way. Hey, the only way it's gonna come into play if they turn us down.
Madam Chairman, is there anything that you might want to add to that, or is there?
Well, that was my question. I didn't know what if necessary meant, but if that's what it means,
that is what,
is that what you mean?
that's,
If
well,
the
that's
land's
what I
turned down?
wrote it. To include if needed.
Everybody's mind clear before we take this vote?
Yes.
Okay, let's have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Shea.
So with.
Wait a minute, Ginger had something that wants to.
I feel like we might need to ask Trevor. If that is the resolution, and the state knows that, have you had any discussion with them at all? If it comes to them, the city council has approved that, are they going to turn down that appraisal?
Yeah,
That's not the indication that I received from Mark Sandstill, the representative from the state that is my representative that's in control of this particular grant for us.
that's a very good point.
Order on it then. If the motion contains that, resolution does not contain that, that'd be cover enough.
No, whatever you pass, pass a resolution.
That's right.
And so you now have on the table a motion to amend this resolution. And so it's time for y'all to discuss that. I'm sorry, that's why I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I felt like y'all may needed a little bit more discussion about that. I'm just a little concerned about what that does to us at the state level.
Well, I personally feel that if, we need to build the first, what you've got listed, plus we do need that. So I have no problem with the additional funds to include restrooms. Nice.
Yes, sir.
So if they turn down the land appraisal, Peter, will they come back to us and offer that grant? And we could do, as Councilmember Feldhouse wanted to amend?
Yeah, exactly.
So that-
If they came back and said that, but again, the state has given no indication that they would turn down the land appraisal. Everything that I received from them has been positive. Of course, I can't account for every scenario, which is the one that we have in front of us, but I have not seen any indication that they would turn down the land appraisal.
Trevor, I just want to make certain that I understood, because I think she asked the question that I was going to ask. If for some reason this gets to the state solely on land appraisal, this amended motion doesn't pass, it doesn't pass. It gets to the state and they turn it down. Is it dead? Or will they give the city another opportunity to come up with the cash for $2.5 million?
The other indication, I haven't asked that question, that exact question.
Well-
I've only asked the question, will you accept this land appraisal? And the indication I've gotten is, yes, we will. And then I've been asked to upload that appraisal, and I've already uploaded that to the website. And he's been able to look over that. He's confident that they're gonna accept that land appraisal.
You've answered the question.
But you.
Let's, let Mr. Collins have to say so. He's been trying to get in the conversation. It's our city manager. Okay.
throughout my career, I've probably done 10 to 12 health jobs. And of that number, most recently, about 4 to 5 years ago, we had a land match like this, except at 100%. Others that I've done in other cities earlier on, they always, if you have a certified land appraiser, they accept it. Any issue with this, I've spoken to some of the RES officials also, and they're all confident that we've got one heck of a project. As a matter of fact, one of the Recreation Education Services people said we could become a magnet and or cities our size putting on these complexes in this area. I'm highly confident, based on my experience, that they will accept it 100%.
I think that we should just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
And let's take it to the state, and if they approve it, let's, but if they don't,
Well, I don't. I think the resolution should go in, the way we amended it, and give the state the option. Because we're gonna do it anyway, we're gonna spend the money, we've already decided, it seems to me like this council's in favor of, that we don't wanna do soccer fields if we don't have nice restrooms. And so, let's let the state know that we are positive, that we want this to go either way we want it. And if they feel gracious and take the appraisal, fine. If they don't, they can't turn the other down because it's there offered in front of them. And, you know, if you're gonna do this, personally, I'm really conservative and I hate to spend taxpayers' money. That's a lot of money to commit to, but if we're gonna have it, or let's make it nice. I mean, that's the way
but
I
we can always do that after this is approved.
Right.
And let's
And give it,
give on that. And
well,
Why don't
because
you put that-
the state will know that they can't turn it down. They're gonna have to take it one way or the other.
but they're taking it fine the way we got it. written.
Probably. Yeah.
What's Patty, what do you got to say?
All I was gonna say is if you kept it in whichever way, if you kept it the original way, y'all could always come back and do a budget amendment for restrooms.
That's right.
I mean, if you wanted to just keep it clean, but
It's
if you
fine.
wanna do it the other way, that's fine, but I just say, you always have the option
Yeah.
to ask for more money locally.
I just wanna make certain that what I'm talking about is procedurally, it's not about whether you support money later.
right.
My only concern is procedurally, if you amend the resolution as it is, I'm concerned upon review at the state that it changes things. That is, and that's why I asked you, and you've said you've not asked that question of the state. So there's no guarantee, we do not know that, whether it would change, whether they'll accept the appraisal or not. That's all I just wanted to point out to you from a procedural
And
standpoint.
as it stands right now, whether or not you approve 2.5 million or 770,000, the number amount from the state doesn't change. So if you only do the 770,000, you're still gonna get your $2.5 million from the state. And at a later time, especially after we're nearing the completion of phase one, at that point, the grant goes away and we no longer have the state looking over the shoulder. And we can approve anything that we want at that point outside of the scope that was submitted to the state that would include bathrooms, if that's what we wanted to do at that moment.
Okay. All right, so we've got two different motions that we're looking at. Scott, go ahead. You
We have one
motion.
I didn't have the other. Good.
That's right.
Well, and I just wanted to add, this would also lay the groundwork. Trevor, three people in this room, his staff, and everybody else, they're already looking 5 years down the road. And they are laying groundwork to get private investment in this soccer complex. One of the first questions that's been asked, did he have skin in the game? Taking this action, we've got 1.7 million plus, we've got 770 in cash. So, in my view, city got about skin in the game.
Would you recommend, Mr. City Manager, to go with our original resolution, not have an amended?
In order for clarifications, get this grant streamlined through Tennessee Department of Environmental Conservation, RES.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr., it's in your ballpark, do you want to go back to the original?
You need to
That
vote.
we had
It's
to have
already
a
been
vote.
voted. You gotta vote on
Motion
the
on
motion
the
to amend.
Motion, sorry,
There's
we get
a
a second
motion on the floor. Mr. Christie agreed to amend his motion
Right.
to add what Councilman Feldhouse said, and Mr. Hale agreed to that. So we have that motion on the floor. We have to have a vote on the motion to amend before we can move forward.
so that's to put 2.5 cash with the 2.5.
It's to amend the resolution to include, if needed, a $2.5 million bond towards this project.
And I understood the intent of that is if for any reason the state turns down the appraisal as 1.7 million or whatever it is,
Yeah.
that then we would come up, the state would know that we would match it. That's the intent, correct, Henry? That's the intent of your motion.
Can we withdraw that and go to the original?
We have to.
I like Mr. Christie's theory that shows the state, we're serious, shows the people we're
That's
serious.
fine.
That's
I feel it is.
That's a different type of.
Let's
vote.
vote.
We
have to show somebody we're serious in
Let's vote.
future, we gotta have them just.
Mayor, call a question to this.
He's called your question, need to vote on the motion to amend.
Okay, we're gonna vote on the motion to amend that's on the floor. Okay,
Councilmember Feldhouse,
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing,
Doesn't have to be this way. Yes.
Councilmember Hale, Councilmember Christie,
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow.
Yep.
Motion passes, the resolution passes.
No, I'm sorry. The amendment passes. We now have to vote on the resolution. The resolution.
That's the original.
No, you just voted on the motion to amend.
So now you're voting, so now we need to first and second.
and the resolution as
No.
amended.
I'm sorry. If you'll give me just a minute. There was a motion and a second to. There was a first a motion and a second to pass this resolution.
Right.
Mr. Feldhouse made a request, or actually made a motion to amend it. You got the second by this man, so then there is an amendment. You have to vote on the amendment.
Well, that ain't how I had it
No, I
down,
changed
I'm
the
sorry.
original, I amended the original.
He agreed to
Amend
amend
the original motion.
his original motion.
But he didn't make the second.
No, Mr. Hale
Mr. Hale
agreed to the original motion being amended.
Did you agree to that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that right? If
Yes.
Mr. Christie
I didn't know
agreed,
Mr. He had done that.
yeah, so we're good. Now it's supposed to be-
You're gonna rewrite the resolution. You're gonna rewrite the resolution.
So, just for clarity, let's vote and approve the amended resolution. Ready? We're voting to approve the amended resolution.
That's the original.
No,
The
the
amended
amended
resolution.
resolution. The
Just voted.
resolution, what we just voted on. First you voted to amend it. Now we're voting that you're approving it as amended. Ready? Everybody, Councilmember Turnbow.
If the state approves the land, we don't have to give it. Right.
Is that it? Yeah. Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing and Councilmember Phelps. So that item is approved as amended.
That was nice.
I'm glad we moved it up to the first part, as you can see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get on the Bobby Turnbow bathrooms,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
We got you good.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Appreciate it. We move forward with our meeting at this time. Consent agenda is the next item. All items in this portion of the agenda considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and may be approved by one motion. However, a council member may request that an item be removed for separate consideration. A, approval of city council minutes of the following: study session of October the 1st, 2024. Regular meeting of October the 10th, 2024. B, accept all monthly reports for the month of October. C, accept all treasurer's reports for the month of September. D, approval of accounts payable for the month of October. E, authorization to reset the December study session to Thursday, December the 5th, 2024. F, authorization for staff to set a date for and organize a city board volunteer members appreciation dinner in the spring of 2025. G, confirmation and approval of implementing the second half of the T-Hanger rent increase of $57.50 on January the 1st, 2025, originally approved in August 2023, and beginning with January the 1st, 2026, increasing the T-Hanger rate annually by 3%, as recommended by the Airport Authority Board. H, approval of amending the Shelbyville Municipal Airport ground lease agreement with Michael DeWeese, Article 8, Insurance, Section A, Insurance Coverage, Paragraph I, Aviation, Liability with additional coverage by reducing the amount of the required coverage from $2 million per occurrence to $1 million per occurrence, as recommended by the Airport Authority Board. I, approval of amending the Shelbyville Municipal Airport ground lease agreement with Tim and Tanner Quigley. Insurance, Section A, Insurance Coverage, Paragraph I, Aviation, Liability with additional coverage by reducing the amount of the required coverage from $2 million per occurrence to $1 million per occurrence, as recommended by the Airport Authority Board. J, approval of and authorization for the mayor and city attorney to sign Shelbyville Greenway Riverwalk Trail System and River Overlook Amendment Number 3 of the Professional Services Agreement with Neil Schaefer Incorporated for Phase 1 Archaeological Study Services in the amount not to exceed $15,741. K, authorization to accept the highest offer for exchange of 60 firearms with King's Firearms, Columbia, Tennessee, for a credit of $8,970 to be used to purchase firearms, ammunition, body armor, and other law enforcement equipment as allowed by TCA 39-17-131I. L, authorization to accept the proposal from United Communications of Chapel Hill for internet service provider for the city of Shelbyville. United Communications meet or exceed the RFP specifications for the best price. This is a 3-year agreement with one additional 2-year option for renewal. M, authorization to accept the low bid of $24,500 from T-Square Engineering Incorporated, Franklin, Tennessee, for the survey of the rail line for the Parks and Recreation Department. The funds will come from the capital fund. N, authorization to accept the bid from Volunteer Paving, LLC, Franklin, Tennessee, for paving and street maintenance for 2024 with 2 one-year options for renewal. This is an annual expense budgeted in the State Street Aid Fund and other funds as needed. All right, on that, do we have a first to approve that as read? We have a second? Did you get both of them, Lisa?
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Councilmember Feldhouse,
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing.
Yes.
Councilmember Hill.
Yes.
Councilmember Christie.
Yes.
Councilmember Sharpeye.
Yes. Public hearings. Ordinances. An ordinance of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to approve the rezoning of approximately 0.37 plus or minus acres owned by Greg and Joey Curl, located at the north of Madison Street and west of Alton Avenue, addressed as 705 Alton Avenue, lot number 2, further referenced as Exhibit A and B final plat, below from the residential R3 medium density residential, the residential R3A medium high density residential district, and repealing any ordinance or portion of ordinance in conflict therewith. This item received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. Okay, any speakers for or against in the audience? Okay, if not, I'll need a motion to approve that, is that correct?
We're in the public hearing.
Okay. The next one is an ordinance of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to approve the rezoning of approximately 0.37 acre owned by DCC Strategic Realty Partners LLC, located near the corner and intersection of Woodbury Street and Knotley Street, south of Colorado Boulevard, addressed as 1004 Woodbury Street, further identified as tax map 0781, Group B, parcel 13, and shown as Exhibit A below from Commercial C2 General Business District to Residential 3A, Medium High Density Residential District, and repealing any ordinance or portion of ordinance in conflict therewith. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. Any speakers for or against on this in the audience? Okay, the next item, an ordinance of the Shelbyville City Council to amend Article 2 definitions, 4 parking and access regulations, Article 6 supplemental regulations, regulations, exceptions and modifications, and Appendix 1 table of uses of the Shelbyville zoning ordinance by updating Section 2.2 definitions, Section 4.12 district-specific parking calculations, Section 6.4H, supplementary regulations for upper story residential, and appendix table of uses. Repeal all previous ordinances and resolutions pertaining to Section 2.2 definitions, Section 4.12 district-specific parking calculations, Section 6.4H, supplementary regulations for upper story residential, and Appendix 1 table of uses, and to repeal any ordinance or part of an ordinance in conflict herewith. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. Any speakers for or against on this? All right, resolution. A resolution of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee, to de-annex certain territory upon written consent of the owners and to unincorporate the same within the border boundaries of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee. The property located on Jennings Lane, referenced on Bedford County Tax Map 068, parcel 120, and owned by Dr. James and Elizabeth Baum. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. Speakers for or against on this? Next is a resolution of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to de-annex certain territory upon written consent of the owners and to unincorporate the same within the boundaries of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee. The property is located on Union Street, further identified by street address 1320 Union Street, referenced on Bedford County Tax Map 079, parcel number 14, and owned by James and Elizabeth Baum. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. Doctor was taken from James. You see that? Any speaker for or against on that? Okay. The next item is a consideration of a motion to allow our city attorney to read captions only on ordinances and resolution. Do I have a motion to approve that? Do I have a second? All right, all in favor say aye. Go get them, Ginger.
First ordinance on second and final reading is an ordinance of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to approve the rezoning of approximately plus or minus 0.37 acres owned by Greg and Joey Curl located to the north of Madison Street and west of Alton Avenue. Address 705 Alton Avenue, lot number 2, further referenced as Exhibit A and B final plat below from residential 3 medium density residential to residential 3A medium high density residential district and repealing any ordinance or portion of an ordinance in conflict therewith.
Okay, and item received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Do I have a motion to approve that? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Let's have a roll call vote.
Member Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing? Yes. Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
Yes, your second ordinance on second and final reading is an ordinance of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to approve the rezoning of approximately plus or minus 0.37 acre owned by DCC Strategic Realty Partners LLC located near the corner and intersection of Woodbury Street and Nobbit Street, south of Colorado Boulevard, addressed as 1004 Woodbury Street, further identified as tax map group and parcel number 78I-B13 and shown on Exhibit A below from Commercial 2, the General Business District, to Residential 3A, the Medium High Density Residential District, and repealing any ordinance or portion of the ordinance in conflict therewith.
This received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Do I have a motion for that ordinance? Do I have a second? Okay. Any discussion on this? Let's have a roll call vote then.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Michelle?
Your third ordinance on second and final reading is an ordinance of the Shelbyville City Council to amend Article 2 definitions, Article 4 parking and access regulations, Article 5 supplementary regulations, the exceptions and modifications, and Appendix 1 table of uses of the Shelbyville zoning ordinance by updating Section 2.2 definitions, Section 4.12 district-specific parking calculations, Section 6.4H, supplementary regulations for upper story residential, and Appendix 1, the table of uses, and to repeal all other ordinances and resolutions pertaining to Section 2.2 definitions, Section 4.12 district-specific parking calculations, Section 6.4H, supplementary regulations for upper story residential, and Appendix 1, the table of uses, and to repeal any ordinance or part of an ordinance in conflict herewith.
And this received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Do you have a motion to approve that? Do you have a second? Any discussion on that? All right, Ms. Smith, let's have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
Good on the resolution.
This is a resolution on second reading. A resolution of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to de-annex certain territory upon written consent of the owners and to unincorporate the same within the boundaries of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee. The property is located on Jennings Lane, referenced on Bedford County Tax Map 68, parcel 120, and owned by Dr. James and Elizabeth Long.
This received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Do I have a motion to approve that? Do you have a second? All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all right, any discussion on that? All right, let's have a roll call, please.
Member Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Resolution B.
Yes, you have a second resolution that has to be passed on 2 readings. It's a resolution by the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to de-annex certain territory upon written consent of the owners and to unincorporate the same within the boundaries of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee. The property is located on Union Street, further identified by street address as 1320 Union Street, referenced on Bedford County Tax Map 79, parcel number 14, owned by Dr. James and Elizabeth Ball.
This received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Do I have a motion to approve that de-annexation?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Let's have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yep.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
New business, ordinances, first reading. Judy?
Yes, Mayor, an ordinance of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to approve the rezoning of the southwest portion of a split zone property approximately plus or minus 0.43 acres owned by John K. Harrison, located at the intersection of Decatur Street and Midland Road, shown on Exhibit A and the B survey below, from residential 2, medium density residential district, to residential 4, the high density residential district, and repealing any ordinance or portion of ordinance in conflict therewith.
This item received a favorable recommendation from the planning commission. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Yes, I make that motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Let's have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Member Hale?
Yes.
We under new business.
Your second ordinance on first reading is an ordinance of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to approve the rezoning of all portions of approximately plus or minus 10.36 acres owned by Richard M. and Kristen B. Wilhelm, located west of 231 North and south of Washington Road, further referenced in Bedford County Tax Records as Tax Map 59, Parcel 101, attached to Exhibit A, from Residential 1, Low Density Residential, to Commercial 2, General Business, and repealing any ordinance or portion of ordinance in conflict therewith.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Let's have a roll call vote, please, Ms. Bennett.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Okay, resolutions.
This first resolution will also have to have two readings. This is on its first reading. A resolution by the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to de-annex approximately plus or minus 6.04 acres of certain territory upon written consent of the owner, and to unincorporate the same within the boundaries of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee. The property is located on Waterbridge Road, referenced in Bedford County Tax Records as Tax Map 88, Parcel 5, and owned by Tara P. Webb.
Do I have a motion to approve that de-annexation?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Let's have a roll call vote.
Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
Councilmember Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale?
Yes.
B, please.
B also will require second readings. This is the first reading. A resolution by the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee to de-annex approximately plus or minus 7.43 acres of certain territory upon written consent of the owners, and to unincorporate the same within the boundaries of the city of Shelbyville, Tennessee. The property is located on Waterbridge Road, referenced in Bedford County Records as Tax Map 88, Parcel 4.02, and owned by William F. and Meredith Hazel Butler.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Have a roll call vote.
Feldhouse?
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing?
Yes.
Councilmember Hale? Councilmember Christie?
Yes.
Councilmember Turnbow?
Yes.
All right, we're gonna move to business items. We want to thank our city attorney for reading the other items. D and C, of course, have already been taken care of. Business items A, consideration of a motion to authorize the city attorney to initiate the condemnation process on the remaining 1/4 of the South Spring Street property identified as parcel 14 and previously in the name of Clarence Phillips, to authorize the mayor and city attorney to sign any necessary documents. Do I have a motion to approve that? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on that? Yes. Our city treasurer, Ms. Kay Burke.
Could we also include to appropriate any additional funds that are needed to purchase this property? I know y'all approved about $185,000 plus closing costs before. We've spent $164,000. And I'm not sure that the $21,000 will be enough to cover this.
It was,
So
because
would
my
y'all-
deposit's already, that I have to put in is over 21,000.
Okay, so would y'all mind adding that? And with the funds to come from the capital projects fund balance?
Yeah, 10,000, 15,000. Start off.
Of course, let me just say again, that, what we put in is for the value up front. You go ahead and get possession, it depends on what the court says it'll be.
So that 20 or 25, just.
For the time being.
We won't use it this way.
Agree to that.
You
I
agree
do
with that? All right, so we have a motion and a second, for that. Any further discussion? If not, let's have a roll call vote.
Jim Sherman.
Yes.
Councilmember Christie.
Yes.
Councilmember Hale.
Yes.
Councilmember Ewing. Yes. Councilmember Felton.
Okay, there's no appointments tonight, and, any announcements that we need to make, anything about?
This, that the study session will be held on December 5th, which will be Thursday, and the Bedford County Christmas courthouse lighting and Christmas tree lighting will be held on December 3rd, and City Hall, we encourage everybody to come, and City Hall will be closed on November 28th and 29th for Thanksgiving. And the trash pickup will be changed for that, I can't remember what it was, but it's on the website. If you wanna call me, I'll be glad to tell it to you.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Do I have a second?
Okay.
All in favor say aye.